So customer retention can be a goldmine for business growth in e-commerce. You've probably all heard this stat, but I'm going to reiterate it again because it's a really good one. A 5% increase in retention results in a 25% increase in profit. So it's really no wonder that for many merchants, this is a huge area of focus. But 2020 completely shook up loyalty and retention as we know it, with many consumers moving online and many more consumers willing to switch to different brands. So it's really more important than ever to prioritize retention in your marketing and to show some love to your pool of existing customers. For the next 20 minutes, we'll be chatting all things customer retention. Our panelists will be discussing their retention strategies and which channels they like to use for retention and much more. So I think it's about time to welcome our lovely client panelists onto the virtual stage. Joining us today, we have Lauren Doherty of Animed Direct, we have Janice Thomas of Look Fabulous Forever, and we have Jonathan Broadhurst of Cooks and Gold. So I thought it would be nice to start with some introductions, and our panelists will go through and tell you a little bit about themselves and what they do. So we'll start with you, Lauren.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Lauren. I'm the CRM e-commerce manager at Animed Direct. We are an online pet pharmacy and part of a wider veterinary group called CVS, so we're their online offering. We sell a variety of prescription medication, so not a lot of people know that you can actually buy your pet medication online, as well as prescription diets and general food, as well as a whole host of other pet accessories. So we are your sort of one-stop shop for everything you need for your pet.
Thank you, Lauren. And Janice?
Hi, I'm Janice Thomas. I am the e-commerce and marketing director at Look Fabulous Forever. We are a direct consumer beauty brand selling cosmetics and skincare to older women. And by older women, I don't mean what the rest of the beauty industry generally does, which is anyone over about 30. Our audience are predominantly in their 60s and 70s.
Thank you. And finally, Jonathan. Oh, you're on mute there, Jonathan.
Hi, my name's Jonathan Broadhurst. I'm an e-commerce executive at Cooks and Gold. We're an online and offline manufacturing company in the jewellery industry, but I work in the team that looks after the website that sells direct to customer and also B2B, jewellery making tools, jewellery making supplies, and all the other products such as boxes and other craft materials that jewellers might use. I work on integrations into the websites, including Fresh Relevance, and I support a wider e-commerce team with the tools to help increase conversion on site.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And I'm Camilla. I'm the content marketing manager here at Fresh Relevance, which means I basically spend all my time reading, researching, or writing about e-commerce. So let's get stuck in because there's a lot to talk about. So I mentioned that the pandemic's completely changed how we deal with loyalty and retention. So I'd like to start by asking our panelists, has your retention strategy changed since the pandemic? And if so, how? Perhaps, Jonathan, we can start with you.
Yes, sure, no problem. It hasn't strictly changed in terms of what we use. What we kind of found was it was a different type of customer we were having to try to retain. So we have a broad customer mix on our website. We sell to both businesses and customers, but obviously as a result of the pandemic, the businesses, obviously they either had to close their doors or they moved into other industries. So we did see a drop on the B2B side of our business. However, on the plus side, we had lots of people stuck at home willing to try making jewellery for the first time. So in terms of our customer mix, we saw a lot more hobbyists entering the market and finding us. So what we found was we were having to just use different methods and trial different means of retaining that hobbyist market. Often when you're selling to businesses in our industry, they stay with you, they're quite loyal. But of course, the hobbyist market, they tended to be a bit more transient and they were willing to shop around. So yeah, we were having to work a lot harder to try and get those hobbyist customers to come back for that second or third purchase. The main thing that we have started trialing in the last year is post-purchase emails. So we could obviously using the tools available to us, we were able to target hobbyists. We knew what kind of products they were purchasing, so we tend to focus on sending out post-purchase emails to encourage them to come back for a second purchase. So that's the main thing that changed, was we had a different customer mix, and we were having to trial different methods of getting those customers to come back again.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's really interesting that you have such a wide customer base and so many different, really different personas. So I can imagine that was an interesting challenge, bringing those hobbyists back. And Janice, same question to you.
Yeah, so for us, it was a very interesting situation. I joined the business in May last year. And at that point, we had actually switched off all our paid marketing activity. So we were very much focused on our existing customer base, particularly improving our conversion through personalization. And particularly for us, that has been working with Fresh Relevance to develop different experiences for new customers versus returning customers, that particularly our proposition is quite unique, and we exist because our founder, Trisha Cusden, started the brand because she was unable to find products that were specifically designed for older women. So she created the brand, she developed the product. Everything is specifically designed for the unique needs of older women. So for new customers, we have quite a lot of storytelling to do to explain about Trisha and her story and what the brand is and why we exist and all of those things. But for existing customers, they know that already. They want to get into product and product recommendations and those kind of things. And also the products that they buy is different from new customers. That if you're a new customer, chances are you will buy makeup from us as your first purchase. You will probably buy one of our best-selling products, either our primers, because they're really unique and make a real difference to your skin as you get older, or you'll buy a kind of lipstick or an eyeshadow, a kind of key selling product. But it'll be very different if you're a returning visitor, particularly if you've bought skincare from us before. You're much more likely to replenish that and those kind of things. So that was a big piece, was improving conversion through personalization, but also developing a more personal relationship with our customers. That we set up a private Facebook group at the beginning of the pandemic because our target audience were disproportionately impacted by that first lockdown, that their life revolves around family and friends and volunteer work and all of those things, and that disappeared overnight. So we created a community where our customers could support each other and talk about the challenges they faced and those moments of joy, as well as talking about makeup and skincare and those kind of things. And that's led to us having a much closer relationship with our customers, that we do regular quarterly customer surveys now to understand how our business is evolving and changing and how we can best meet our existing customers' needs.
It's so nice that you've been able to facilitate that kind of community. I think over the past year that's been more important than ever, hasn't it? And I'm sure that brings your customers closer to you. So it's kind of a win-win, I imagine.
Absolutely. It's been great for both us and our customers.
Yeah. And Lauren, how about you? Have you found success creating communities or with post-purchase emails, or have you found that your strategy's changed at all?
Yeah, definitely. I think for us, we kind of, well, like everyone, went into complete, our whole strategy was turned upside down almost. Because we are a retailer of very important products, we're selling products that people need to keep their pets healthy and in some cases alive. It's a very sensitive topic and people panicked, and we actually had the panic buying that the supermarkets had with pet food stockpiling and rushing to get their prescriptions in. And for us, it was kind of, how do we ensure that we're delivering as much as possible that we can for these customers that are trying to help, members of their family. Our customers see their pets as members of their family. And, if we weren't delivering, we were letting them down. So for us, it was really about how we kind of shifted our retention strategy from more focus on our BAU newsletter emails to actually more focus on triggered emails. So that's where Fresh came in, really. We were working with .digital, we still are, but we really wanted to push that and build upon it and really optimize that journey for the customer. One, to kind of take some time resource away from the team to be able to have these emails that go out in a timely manner based on behavioral targeting and customer behavior, but also to be able to have less time building sort of newsletter emails, because we also actually switched off a lot of our paid marketing and really scaled back on our emails, because we wanted to be able to offer the best experience to our customers that we already had, as well as, trying, although we did acquire lots of new customers, we didn't want to actively go out looking for them, because we were struggling, to be completely honest, to getting orders out the door. So we really kind of shifted our strategy to looking at how we can use triggered emails across post-purchase, abandoned basket, abandoned browse, welcome emails, having a really solid welcome email and campaign in place to welcome these new acquired customers, to let them know, that this is what's happening, and this is how you can, get your order in plenty of time. That was really the message we were trying to address. Having communications as well, clear communications to our customer, like not just marketing communications, but actually like reassurance that they will get their order, and if we couldn't deliver their order, why was that, and what were we going to do about it. So kind of, we really all had to pull together to be able to keep our customers happy, and also nurture all these new acquired customers that for the first time had found themselves ordering their pet's medication online, which they probably, they hadn't done before. They hadn't bought food online, they hadn't bought their medication. So we wanted to obviously keep those customers, as well as not let all of our customers down that we already had. It definitely shifted. And I think the pandemic really kind of opened our eyes on how much we could use personalization within our emails, and also to not just create sort of segments to send them to, but also, like you said, with Fresh, pulling in the smart blocks that we can, and personalized banners, that sort of thing. And those abandoned browse and abandoned basket emails really helped continue to drive the email channel forward, whilst allowing us to, spend more time up in other places, which was great for us.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine that must have saved you a lot of time, having all of those triggers set up. It sounds like it was pretty mental for you.
It was.
As, like you said, being an essential product, I suppose, for many pet owners.
Yes, definitely.
Great. So we've talked a bit about triggered emails and social, and I wondered if there was a particular channel that you found particularly helpful, or you've seen more success with in terms of retention. Jonathan, why don't we start with you?
I would probably reiterate what Lauren's just sort of mentioned there, and it's certainly email for us. To be honest, it always has been. Email has always been really good at retaining customers. We've always used the browse and basket abandonment emails for many years now. So we've spent a lot of time trying to just improve and refine those. The welcome campaign, again, browse basket and welcome emails are certainly, in terms of revenue drivers for us, our most successful campaigns. So we've introduced, again, similar to what Lauren's done with Animed, we've introduced the recommendation blocks that are very specific to the customers, showing what they've recently browsed. It's quite beneficial for our site, because you've got a lot of products that the customers will continue to purchase again and again, because they're making jewelry. They tend to be making very similar things, so they'll always come back and purchase the same type of metal. So one of the things we've started to look at is trying to present the relevant metal types to the customer based on the alloy they might use. We've started to introduce more beneficial offers to the customers, so trying to focus on where they might be geographically, or what customer type they might be, and obviously trying to get that into the emails. So making sure, say, it's a free delivery offer for a UK customer, It might not be that kind of offer for somebody outside the UK, so ensuring they see the relevant offer to that kind of customer. So it's email that we've tried to focus on, because we've always seen the most success with them. But it's just trying to get more recommendations and more bespoke, customer-focused content into those emails.
Yeah, so constantly trying to be more and more personalized. I like that.
Yeah.
And Janice, I'm interested to ask this question to you, because I know that when we spoke to do your case study, you said you're a kind of web first business, and web is really strong for you, and obviously social. So which channel have you found that has been particularly useful?
Yeah, so I think particularly for reactivating lapsed customers, as well as the kind of traditional kind of triggered email sequences, we found paid social is really effective in targeting those specific lapsed customers and bringing them back. So that's been really effective for us. In terms of more ongoing engagement because we've got quite a long typical interval between purchase, it is important for us to remain engaged with our customers when they're not necessarily in that purchase mode. So as well as our private Facebook group, our founder Trisha writes a weekly blog that talks about the challenges and joys she faces as an older woman in society, and we get a huge amount of engagement with our customers in between those purchases. They'll come back again and again every week to read that blog. And I think particularly as we move kind of forward, one of the things that we're looking at implementing is category activation via email. That, for example, on average, the customers who buy skincare from us have double the lifetime value than people who only buy makeup from us. So getting that first skincare purchase is really key. And there are other products and categories that we'll want to start activating customers in terms of the areas they haven't bought before.
That's so interesting, and so nice that you know so specifically that skincare is kind of the golden category for you. Yeah, that's really interesting. And then finally, I know we're running out of time, and it's a shame because there's so much to talk about. I know we spoke about this already a little bit, but how exactly does personalization factor into each of your retention strategies? So Lauren, why don't we start with you for that?
Yeah, so personalization is the crucial element of our retention strategy, really. The others were saying as well, we have really tapped into that since using Fresh Relevance, being able to use the smart blocks across different areas within email. So at Christmas, for example, we used the email module and showed banners with different animated pets wearing a Christmas hat showing that person's pet. So that was a really nice touch, and we saw some really nice engagement from that and got some really nice feedback. And really kind of utilising the data we collect on that customer for a reason. We're quite lucky in the sense that when customers buy certain products from us, they have to register their pet with us as a legal requirement. So we do have access to that data in terms of what kind of pet they have, their age, their name. So they're nice personal touches within the actual content of the email. But then we've got Fresh to be able to deliver that personalization element where we can pull in customer behavior and shopping behavior and past purchase behavior. So that has really kind of elevated our email channel as a business. And like Janice says, we really want to hone in on the different categories across our website. So we know that, for example, a lot of customers buy flea treatment from us, but don't also buy a spray to treat their house or buy the worming treatment as well. And really they do come as, they come as a pair. And it might be that our owners aren't educated as much on that, and they don't know that they need to come together, or they go to the vet for that specific thing. So it's, how can we use cross-selling to be able to push that and drive that for our existing customers, to educate them, as well as, protecting their pet and their home as well. But yeah, so we really see that as the heart, and actually we're taking the learnings that we've seen through the personalization within the emails across band and cart, band and browse, and trying to bring that onto our website as well. And really utilizing that to give our returning customers an experience that they haven't seen from us before. Even if it's just showing their name when they come on the website, or you may also like the the intelligence that we have from Fresh, like moving that into that to our website as well. And we really want to optimize that for the rest of 2021, just to deliver that experience that we are currently doing in email now.
Yeah, I love that, making sure that it's a cross-channel, like consistent, personalized experience. And I love the email example that you mentioned with the Santa hat and the pet's name. You can find that on Annie MedDirect's case study. It's a really good example if you want to check that out. And then Janice, how about you? How does personalization factor into all of this?
Yeah, so for us, kind of to date, we've been mostly around kind of the products and the offers that you see. And the next step for us is much more about content. That for us, we're very content-led, video-led company. Particularly, Trisha is huge on YouTube, and it's essentially serving relevant video content to the relevant customers, particularly post-purchase that you've just bought. Say, for example, our lip primer. And it works in quite a counterintuitive way. You actually put it around the edges, so the outside of your lips rather than on your lips. So actually having that video content both on the website and via email when you've just purchased that product, you're much more likely to understand what it is you've just bought, how to make the most of it, and you're much more likely to buy not just that product from us again, but other products because we've been helpful and useful to you.
Yeah, that sounds so valuable. It's all about content, isn't it? Especially for something as visual as beauty. And then finally, Jonathan, anything to add? I know you already talked a little bit about how you're using personalization.
Yeah, I mean, as well as using it in the emails, it's becoming more and more important to us on our websites as well. So we've started to, as I mentioned earlier, we've always started to show either coloured products that the customer might be interested in based on what colour they've purchased before or looked at. Same with the alloy they use. So if they buy a lot of gold products from us, then we tend to try and focus and show more gold products to them in our landing pages. But we're expanding that all the time onto other landing pages like our clearance sale. We'll always try to focus on the category that customer may have looked at. And we're trying to go that next step further now. So the element that we're working on at the moment is almost like an account block that would appear on the customer's homepage when they log in. So it's going to show recently purchased orders that gives them a quick link to that, products recently looked at or products they may like based on what they've recently looked at. And we're constantly growing our content library as well. We've got an active blog, and we've got videos of jewelry making or videos of ranges of jewelry products, and we're trying to then push that content towards the customer at the point they're likely to be interested in it. So that's both on the homepage in a very one-to-one conversation almost with the customer. This account block is incredibly relevant to them, but also on, say, product pages, we'll try and push relevant content to them there as well. So yeah, personalization is something that we're just growing more and more over the last 12 months, and it'll certainly be a focus going forward for us.
Yeah, that's great. And it sounds like it's all about just making the journey as convenient as possible for those returning customers, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I think that we have to wrap up now, unfortunately, even though there's obviously a lot more to talk about. So the only final bits left for me to say are that we have coming up, we have 4 breakout tents hosted by our wonderful festival sponsors, .digital, Trustpilot, JH, and Lead Family. So please do go and check those out now by clicking on the roundtable icon at the side there. And we'll see you back on the stage at around 4:10 for the Personalization Pro Awards. Thank you very much to our wonderful panelists.